Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Kyle Olson of Chiropractic First of Rockford, and I want to take a minute today as we kick off the summer months here in Northern Illinois. The weather's starting to finally get warm. I know my family, and I'm sure many viewers out there as well, are spending more and more time outdoors. And one of the concerns that arises in our culture, and that is something that um, is harped on, it's a standard that sunscreen is something that we're told from an early age we need to be putting on and putting on consistently. And this is something that a couple weeks ago, Robert Kennedy Jr. made a statement about concerns that a lot of the most popular sunscreen forms that are out there right now on the market commercially actually contain chemicals and things in them that are harmful, that are doing more harm than good overall. And for many people, that was the first time maybe that they've seen in mass culture or mass media something that's being questioned about sunscreen. That's again been such a staple of recommendations for health for so many decades in this country. Now, to dive a little bit deeper into sunscreen, I'll tell you this is something that, like anything when it comes to your health, your family's health, you have to do a certain amount of research, a certain amount of understanding on your own level to be comfortable with the decisions you make and understand that everything has risks and rewards. And ultimately, the decisions you make about what sunscreen to use, if you're going to use sunscreen, if you're going to use an alternative, you have to be comfortable with it and understand, hopefully, both sides and make that decision in an informed manner. Now, to dive into what that means, though, is the reality is, and I'll tell you from my personal experience, my family, we don't use the traditional sunscreen or the kind that you'll find the majority that you'd see on the shelf. We use a mineral-based sunscreen. We either utilize one that uses zinc oxide or titanium dioxide as a way to protect our skin and our children's skin. And the reason we do that is because it does those mineral-based sunscreens have significantly less or no, depending on the brand that you utilize, of the harmful chemicals that are found in most commercial sunscreens that are out there. And so we look for certain things to avoid. And I want to go through a few of those right off the bat. The biggest one is if you see the word benzone, it's likely one that you want to avoid. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and Google benzone or one of these other terms. There's a lot of research. There's questions about not only its efficacy in sunscreen, but in an exposure, it's a nervous system disruptor. It's a hormone disruptor. And there are even some links to possibly increasing the risk of cancer or being part of a carcinogen when overexposed. And so we look for things specifically. We want to make sure that there's no oxybenzone listed in the ingredients, that there's no benzone listed in the ingredients, or that there's no amino benzoic acid, or what's called or abbreviated PABA in the ingredients as well. Ingredients are listed on sunscreen bottles, just like your food labels, so you can actually look and see. And if you have questions about any of those, I would recommend you do a little bit of research online and find out what's in those and decide if it's right for you or your family. Now, what do you want to do if you don't want to use sunscreen? Well, there are some very popular options out there, and these are options that have been utilized for many, many years for their qualities. And by many years, I mean going back hundreds of years. We actually know that different cultures around the world used various types of oils that were available to them from fruits, from other plants that protected their skin, moisturized their skin, and offered protection. The coconut oil is a very popular one, and it's popular not just because it's good at blocking harmful UV rays, but also because it helps to moisturize the skin. So coconut oil is a very common one that we'll utilize if we're not using a mineral-based sunscreen. Shea butter is very popular. Olive oil has been used at different cultures at different times throughout our history. So there are plenty of healthy alternatives out there that provide some level of UV protection without all the harmful chemicals that come in most commercial available ones now. The other thing to understand is that when you are somebody that is looking to transition maybe to these natural alternatives or to utilize less sunscreen, it's a good idea to taper as much as you're able to your sun exposure. So you wouldn't want to be somebody that all of a sudden goes off of sunscreen or switches to this alternative and then spends a significant amount more time in the sun right away. Chances are you're going to get burned and you're putting yourself at risk. So it's good to taper up a little bit when you're making a transition like this. The other thing that's really interesting that maybe gets overlooked is the role that antioxidants in our food or diet plays a role in limiting sunburn or sun damage. So when you look for antioxidants, we're looking for things like selenium, vitamin C, vitamin E. Those are really powerful antioxidants that help to absorb and neutralize free radicals that are created in the body when exposed to high levels of UV rays, which are what are coming from the sun. So, believe it or not, eating a good, healthy diet, things like berries, green leafy vegetables, colorful vegetables that are high in antioxidants, can actually help your body mitigate or avoid sunburn or the negative effects of sunburn. So, these are all things that play a role when it comes to how your body or how you hopefully manage your time in the sun. Hopefully, you're getting out. Getting out in the sun helps your body create vitamin D, which is an amazing vitamin and actually hormone in your body that has a broad spectrum of benefits. So proper sun exposure is really important to make sure your body is healthy and functioning at a high level. And so it's important to do so safely. So all these things to consider with sunscreen. Again, I'd encourage you to do your own research, come up with your own conclusions, and make the decision that's right for you and your family. Remember, sunscreen, like anything that you put on your skin, is going to be absorbed into the body. So if it's not something you would want to put in through your mouth, chances are you probably don't want to put it on your skin. So consider that when you look at the ingredients and you make the decision that's right for you. Have a great day.